Welcome back to my little den of heresy and evil, or whatever you want to call it. Either way. Great and glorious, soon to be famous one day. Nick Dutch back on the camera once again, one more time, for another delightful tarot reading, as I used to say in the old days, but, well, I'm not doing tarot reading, I'm talking about tarot. And I've arranged the cards like this for a good reason. Okay? That's the major arcana, and all the rest are the minor arcana. As you can see, you've got wands, you've got swords, you've got your coins or discs, and you've got your cups. Now, there was a time in the history of our people, so to speak, in terms of the history of occultism, when tarot became connected to the Kabbalah, and because of that it became incorporated into the sort of like the shamanic and magicio religious kind of like outlook. Okay? However, before then it was a tool of fortune telling, and before then it was a game which was regarded by the church as being really rather negative, because it was a gambling game and it used essentially the symbolism of the major arcana, which was of course the symbolism of the church, because that was the main source of like media and all the rest of that, and culture and politics of the time. So when the church decided tarot is wrong because you're using church imagery in a gambling game, that's when it got demonized and it moved into the hands of the gypsy fortune tellers and people performing their various different cunning arts, so to speak. And essentially the mythology of tarot specifically, not just cartomancy, because cartomancy has a known history going back in archaeology at least 500 years, but also probably a hell of a lot further. Okay, so people who go to various different bookshops and buy a pack of tarot cards with an instruction booklet, what you're doing there is buying something that the wealthy, weird people of the old days would have been able to do. You know, hand-painted cards, handwritten books, of course, they didn't have printing presses and so on and so forth. But it's the same basic idea. It's probable that cartomancy went along for a long period of time, from what I think anyway, prior to tarot being the thing which then took over. But remember, this is like the division of the world. You've got, your material world. You've got your, commerce, trade, that sort of thing. You've got your social interaction, romantic entanglements and friendships and getting on with people with a glass of wine in your hand, okay? Then you've got sports. And then you've got conflicts. So all of these four suits, okay, which I've arranged in this star pattern for a reason, represent your regular life. But this didn't, because this bit, which we call the major arcana, is an issue of faith, and it is the symbolism of faith originally. Okay? So think about it. There was a time when, of course, 1966 and Anton LaVey creating the Church of Satan, or whatever it was he did, and you got the Wiccan religion being created in the 1950s. The use of the five-pointed star has been influenced by the presence of tarot in the world. The various invoking and banishing pentagrams that you see in various different occult manuals, okay, which involves, drawing your star in a certain way in order to, allegedly invoke the energy, was more to do with, I think, the product of tarot looking like a star. Okay, it's got your four elements there. It's got the fifth element of spirit. Of course, it isn't spirit, is it? It's faith. It's religion. Okay? And that creates a whole universe. So all the idea that the pentagram represents humanity or human life, does it? Or does it actually represent tarot? Is the presence of tarot in history something which has created the environment whereby the modern day symbolism of witchcraft came about? Now, in some forms of witchcraft, they use various different tools on their altar, don't they? One of them is the scourge, I believe, which is supposed to be a symbol of the hardship of life. But a lot of the rest of them look very similar to what you see before you right now, don't they? There's a cup or a chalice or a cauldron, taken over in Christianity with the communion cup. There's swords, which is used in the sort of like, is that the Alexandrian sects when they sort of like open up the circle using the sword? Okay, which is reminiscent of the biblical imagery, which is reminiscent of things coming from the Golden Dawn, which was of course Christian. Okay. Sometimes there will be a disc which will be used as a symbol for a bargaining with a spirit, or a representation of the physical world, and also various forms of magical wands. So maybe it is that the tarot has informed the vast majority of occult religions out there. Remembering, of course, that means that the imagery of the vast majority of occult organizations is wrong. Because the suit of wands doesn't refer to magical wands, it refers to sports. Because the wands themselves were originally hockey sticks. Okay? And that's why it had proper real meaning. Doesn't seem to have that these days. And people don't think in terms of the suit of wands being a suit of sports. Why is that? Because the meaning has got lost in history. And because we're dealing with a world which builds itself often on revisionist histories, namely things that people have created or made up, or they would use the word reconstructed. Okay? But sometimes it's also misinterpreted for political purposes. And then it's still regarded as being the ancient traditions of the ancient people from thousands of years ago. My point here is not to besmirch or to be negative or say negative things about people from different forms of spirituality. Far from it. I'm a very liberally minded person. But instead it is to point to the power of the history of tarot in the creation of the modern spiritual reality that a lot of people find themselves in. Okay? For that reason, even if you don't quite get on with tarot, it's well worthwhile looking at, studying and getting involved with and getting interested in, because it has a bearing upon what it is you think. I actually got the star on the board. I could line the cards up with the points on the star, make it look even more weird and spooky and all that kind of stuff. But you see my point. Now, if you disagree with me, that's fine, that's okay, I'm okay with that. I have a comment section specifically for that. Okay? Use it. I'm interested in what you think. Now, the other thing I'll say is that I'm concerned about the frequency of me putting out videos at the moment. And I'm still trying to work out what it is you prefer. I did that period of time when I was doing 3 videos a day. Okay? And sometimes some people thought that was great, some people thought that wasn't so great. Then I thought maybe I should put one out one a day. And then I thought maybe I should be putting out one every 3 days. I don't know. I don't know what you want. And I can't keep everybody happy, which is a bugger. Okay, it's a real pain in the tootsie. So again, let me know your thoughts on that side of things, and let me know a few more things that you'll want to see, because I want you to love and enjoy the thing which has given me so much pleasure over so many years. Okay, I want you to love and enjoy tarot. I want you to understand that this is a good thing. I want you to understand that this is a beneficial thing. And I want you to understand that it can be it can be good for you in some particular key ways, with helping you with introspection, contemplation, and thinking about where you're coming from and where you're going to and all that kind of stuff. All right? And I think I'll leave it there for now. There's a lot more I could say, a lot more I could do, but right now, think about what the body of the video is about, think about what I've said. You can give me your suggestions anytime down in the comment section. If you value the work that I'm doing here, give me a like, subscribe, and click the bell. And if you really, really, really like me, then there's that little heart shape with the dollar symbol in it. You could use that too if you want it. You don't have to, but if you do, then I'll be more motivated to make content for you. Okay? Speak to you again soon. Bye for now.